Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A beam laid along the edge where two sloping sides of a roof meet at the top provides an attachment for the upper ends of rafters. A long narrow range of hills. A long narrow natural elevation on the floor of the ocean. A long narrow natural elevation or striation. Any long raised border or margin of a bone or tooth or membrane. Any long raised strip. Extend in ridges. The land ridges towards the south. Form into a ridge. Plow alternate strips by throwing the furrow onto an unplowed strip. Spade into alternate ridges and troughs. Ridge the soil. Throw soil toward a crop row from both sides. He ridged his corn. A beam laid along the edge where two sloping sides of a roof meet at the top provides an attachment for the upper ends of rafters. A beam laid along the edge where two sloping sides of a roof meet at the top provides an attachment for the upper ends of rafters. A long narrow range of hills. A group of nearly parallel lines of electromagnetic radiation. Emit light. Be bright, as of the sun or a light. The fire beamed on their faces. A column of light, as from a beacon. A signal transmitted along a narrow path guides airplane pilots in darkness or bad weather. Experience a feeling of well-being or happiness, as from good health or an intense emotion. She was beaming with joy. Broadcast over the airwaves, as in radio or television. Have a complexion with a strong bright color, such as red or pink. A gymnastic apparatus used by women gymnasts. Express with a beaming face or smile. He beamed his approval. Long thick piece of wood or metal or concrete, etc., used in construction. Nautical, breadth amidships. Smile radiantly. Express joy through one's facial expression. The broad side of a ship. They sighted land on the port beam. Geology, the geological features of the Earth. Geology, the geological features of the Earth. The act of forming or establishing something. The act of fabricating something in a particular shape. An arrangement of people or things acting as a unit. A defensive formation. A particular spatial arrangement. Creation by mental activity. The formation of sentences. Natural process that causes something to form. The formation of gas in the intestine. Angular distance above the horizon, especially of a celestial object. The event of something being raised upward. An elevation of the temperature in the afternoon. The act of increasing the wealth or prestige or power or scope of something. His elevation to cardinal. The highest level or degree attainable. The highest stage of development. A raised or elevated geological formation. Ballet. The height of a dancer's leap or jump. A dancer of exceptional elevation. Distance of something above a reference point, such as sea level. There was snow at the higher elevations. Drawing of an exterior of a structure. A raised or elevated geological formation. A natural prolongation or projection from a part of an organism, either animal or plant. The gradual beginning or coming forth. A natural consequence of development. A natural prolongation or projection from a part of an organism, either animal or plant. A bony process. A writ issued by authority of law usually compels the defendant's attendance in a civil suit. Failure to appear results in a default judgment against the defendant. Shape, form, or improve a material. Process iron. Deliver a warrant or summons to someone. He was processed by the sheriff. A sustained phenomenon or one marked by gradual changes through a series of states. Events now in process. Institute legal proceedings against. File a suit against. He was warned that the district attorney would process him. March in a procession. They processed into the dining room. A particular course of action intended to achieve a result. It was a process of trial and error. Psychology. The performance of some composite cognitive activity. An operation that affects mental contents. The process of thinking. A mental process that you are not directly aware of. The process of denial. Subject to a process or treatment, with the aim of readying for some purpose, improving, or remedying a condition. Process cheese. Deal with in a routine way. Process alone. Perform mathematical and logical operations on data, according to programmed instructions in order to obtain the required information. The results of the elections were still being processed when he gave his acceptance speech. A natural prolongation or projection from a part of an organism, either animal or plant. An external body part that projects from the body. A part that is joined to something larger. A shape that curves or bulges outward. The property possessed by a convex shape. A shape that curves or bulges outward. A recording of a song that was first recorded or made popular by somebody else. They made a cover of a Beatles song. Form a cover over. The grass covered the grave. Clothe, as if for protection from the elements. Cover your head. A fixed charge by a restaurant or nightclub over and above the charge for food and drink. The act of concealing the existence of something by obstructing the view of it. The cover concealed their guns from enemy aircraft. Travel across or pass over. The caravan covered almost 100 miles each day. Span an interval of distance, space or time. The period covered the turn of the century. A covering that serves to conceal or shelter something. Under cover of darkness. Include in scope. Include as part of something broader. Have as one sphere or territory. This should cover everyone in the group. Fire that makes it difficult for the enemy to fire on your own individuals or formations. Artillery provided covering fire for the withdrawal. Put something on top of something else. Cover the meat with a lot of gravy. A natural object that covers or envelops. Under a covering of dust. The protective covering on the front, back, and spine of a book. Make up for shortcomings or a feeling of inferiority by exaggerating good qualities. Bedding that keeps a person warm in bed. He pulled the covers over his head and went to sleep. Hide from view or knowledge. The president covered the fact that he bugged the offices in the White House. Be responsible for reporting the details of, as in journalism. The cub reporter covered New York City. Covering for a hole, especially a hole in the top of a container. Put the cover back on the kettle. Act on verbally or in some form of artistic expression. The course covered all of Western civilization. Sit on, eggs. The female covers the eggs. Protect by insurance. The insurance won't cover this. Cover as if with a shroud. Copulate with a female, used especially of horses. The horse covers the mare. A false identity and background, especially one created for an undercover agent. Her new name and passport or cover for her next assignment. Be responsible for guarding an opponent in a game. Be sufficient to meet, defray, or offset the charge or cost of. Is this enough to cover the check? Help out by taking someone's place and temporarily assuming his responsibilities. She is covering for our secretary who is ill this week. Hold within range of an aimed firearm. Invest with a large or excessive amount of something. She covered herself with glory. Maintain a check on, especially by patrolling. The second officer covered the top floor. Play a higher card than the one previously played. Smith covered again. Protect or defend, a position in a game. He covered left field. Provide for. The grant doesn't cover my salary. Provide with a covering or cause to be covered. Cover her face with a handkerchief. Spread over a surface to conceal or protect. This paint covers well. To take an action to protect against future problems. Count the cash in the drawer twice just to cover yourself. Continue a certain state, condition, or activity. We continued to work into the night. Span an interval of distance, space or time. The archipelago continues for another 500 miles. Continue talking. I know it's hard, he continued, but there is no choice. Keep or maintain in unaltered condition. Cause to remain or last. Continue the family tradition. Continue in a place, position, or situation. She continued as deputy mayor for another year. Do something repeatedly and showing no intention to stop. We continued our research into the cause of the illness. Move ahead. Travel onward in time or space. She continued in the direction of the hills. Allow to remain in a place or position or maintain a property or feature. We cannot continue several servants any longer. Continue after an interruption. The demonstration continued after a break for lunch. Exist over a prolonged period of time. The bad weather continued for 2 more weeks. Extend in scope or range or area. The law was extended to all citizens. Offer verbally. Extend my greetings. Expand the influence of. The king extended his rule to the eastern part of the continent. Span an interval of distance, space or time. The war extended over 5 years. Extend or stretch out to a greater or the full length. Extend the TV antenna. Increase in quantity or bulk by adding a cheaper substance. Extend the casserole with a little rice. Thrust or extend out. Extend a hand. Continue or extend. The disease extended into the remote mountain provinces. Cause to move at full gallop. Reach outward in space. The awning extends several feet over the sidewalk. Use to the utmost. Exert vigorously or to full capacity. He really extended himself when he climbed Kilimanjaro. Stretch out over a distance, space, time, or scope. Run or extend between 2 points or beyond a certain point. My memory extends back to my 4th year of life. Make available. Provide. Extend a loan. Lengthen in time. Cause to be or last longer. She extended her visit by another day. Extend one's limbs or muscles, or the entire body. Open or straighten out. Unbend. Can we extend the legs of this dining table? Prolong the time allowed for payment of. Extend the loan. The visual appearance of something or someone. A perceptual structure. The composition presents problems for students of musical form. The phonological or orthographic sound or appearance of a word that can be used to describe or identify something. The inflected forms of a word can be represented by a stem in a list of inflections to be attached. Make something, usually for a specific function. Any spatial attributes, especially as defined by outline. Establish or impress firmly in the mind. A body of students who are taught together. Create, as an entity. Social groups form everywhere. Biology. A group of organisms within a species that differ in trivial ways from similar groups. A category of things distinguished by some common characteristic or quality. Sculpture is a form of art. A life-size dummy used to display clothes. Develop into a distinctive entity. Alternative names for the body of a human being. The spatial arrangement of something is distinct from its substance. To compose or represent. This wall forms the background of the stage setting. Give shape or form to. Form the young child's character. Physical chemistry. A distinct state of matter in a system. Matter that is identical in chemical composition and physical state and separated from other material by the phase boundary. A mold for setting concrete. They built elaborate forms for pouring the foundation. An ability to perform well. He was at the top of his form. An arrangement of the elements in a composition or discourse. The essay was in the form of a dialogue. A particular mode in which something is manifested. His resentment took the form of extreme hostility. A printed document with spaces in which to write. He filled out his tax form. Assume a form or shape. The water formed little beads. The visual appearance of something or someone. A perceptual structure. Make something, usually for a specific function. Shape a figure. A concrete representation of an otherwise nebulous concept. Any spatial attributes, especially as defined by outline. He could barely make out their shapes. The state of good health, especially in the phrases in condition, or in shape, or out of condition, or out of shape. Shape or influence. Give direction to. Alternative names for the body of a human being. The spatial arrangement of something is distinct from its substance. Geometry is the mathematical science of shape. The supreme headquarters that advises NATO on military matters and oversees all aspects of the Allied Command Europe. Give shape or form to. Shape the dough. To break and turn over earth, especially with a plow. Farmer Jones plowed his east field last week. A farm tool having one or more heavy blades to break the soil and cut a furrow prior to sowing. Act on verbally or in some form of artistic expression. Move in a way resembling that of a plow cutting into or going through the soil. The ship plowed through the water. To break and turn over earth, especially with a plow. Turn the earth in the spring. Twist suddenly so as to sprain. I turned my ankle and couldn't walk for several days. Pass into a condition gradually, take on a specific property or attribute, become. The weather turned nasty. Cause to move around a center so as to show another side of. Turn a page of a book. Undergo a change or development. The water turned into ice. Let something fall or spill from a container. Turn the flour onto a plate. Cause a plastic object, to assume a crooked or angular form. The strong man could turn an iron bar. Undergo a transformation or a change of position or action. We turned from socialism to capitalism. Pass to the other side of. Turn the corner. Have recourse to or make an appeal or request for help or information to. She turned to her relatives for help. Turning or twisting around, in place. A favor for someone. He did me a good turn. Change to the contrary. The tides turned against him. Game. The activity of doing something in an agreed succession. It is my turn. A short performance that is part of a longer program. A circular segment of a curve. Sports. A division during which one team is on the offensive. A time period for working, after which you will be relieved by someone else. A movement in a new direction. The turning of the wind. An unforeseen development. Events suddenly took an awkward turn. The act of changing or reversing the direction of the course. He took a turn to the right. Go sour or spoil. The cream has turned, we have to throw it out. Accomplish by rotating. Turn a somersault. Alter the functioning or setting of. Turn the dial to 10. Become officially 1 year older. She is turning 50 this year. Cause to change or turn into something different. Assume new characteristics. The princess turned the frog into a prince by kissing him. Cause to move along an axis or into a new direction. Turn your face to the wall. Cuz to move around or rotate. Turn a key. Change color. In Vermont, the leaves turn early. Change orientation or direction, also in the abstract sense. The mugger turned and fled before I could see his face. Channel one's attention, interest, thought, or attention toward or away from something. The pedophile turned to boys for satisfaction. Direct at someone. She turned a smile on me. Get by buying and selling. The company turned a good profit after a year. Move around an axis or a center. The wheels are turning. Shape by rotating on a lathe or cutting device or a wheel. Turn the legs of the table. Taking a short walk out and back. We took a turn in the park. The act of turning away or in the opposite direction. He made an abrupt turn away from her. To send or let go. They turned away the crowd at the gate of the governor's mansion. To break and turn over earth, especially with a plow. A group of 7 bright stars in the constellation Ursa Major. A farm tool having 1 or more heavy blades to break the soil and cut a furrow prior to sowing. Move in a way resembling that of a plow cutting into or going through the soil. A playing card in the major suit that has 1 or more black figures on it. She led a low spade. A sturdy hand shovel that can be pushed into the earth with the foot. Dig up with a spade. I spade compost into the flower beds. Cuz to go on or to be engaged or set in operation. Throw the lever. Convey or communicate. Of a smile, a look, a physical gesture. The maximum movement available to a pivoted or reciprocating piece by a cam. Organize or be responsible for. Have, throw, or make a party. Cuz to be confused emotionally. Put or send forth. Get rid of. Be confusing or perplexing to. Cause to be unable to think clearly. Place or put with great energy. Utter with force. Utter vehemently. Throw accusations at someone. A single chance or instance. He couldn't afford $50 a throw. Bedclothes consisting of a lightweight cloth covering, an afghan or bedspread, that is casually thrown over something. Casting an object in order to determine an outcome randomly. He risked his fortune on a throw of the dice. Cuz to fall off. Make on a potter's wheel. Move violently, energetically, or carelessly. Propel through the air. Throw a frisbee. The act of throwing, propelling something with a rapid movement of the arm and wrist. The catcher made a good throw to second base. Throw, a die, out onto a flat surface. To put into a state or activity hastily, suddenly, or carelessly. Throw the car into reverse. On the back of a horse. He rode horseback to town. A narrow ridge of hills. The back of a horse. A sharp narrow ridge found in rugged mountains. A narrow ridge of hills. One of a series of small ridges produced in sand by water currents or by wind. A financial institution that accepts deposits and channels the money into lending activities. He cashed a check at the bank. Have faith or confidence in. Put into a bank account. A container, usually with a slot in the top, for keeping money at home. The coin bank was empty. A slope in the turn of a road or track. The outside is higher than the inside in order to reduce the effects of centrifugal force. A building in which the business of banking transacted. The bank is on the corner of Nassau and Witherspoon. Act as the banker in a game or in gambling. A flight maneuver. Aircraft tips laterally about its longitudinal axis, especially in turning. The plane went into a steep bank. A long ridge or pile. A huge bank of earth. An arrangement of similar objects in a row or in tiers. He operated a bank of switches. A supply or stock held in reserve for future use, especially in emergencies. Be in the banking business. Cover with ashes so to control the rate of burning. Bank a fire. Do business with a bank or keep an account at a bank. Where do you bank in this town? Enclose with a bank. Bank roads. Sloping land, especially the slope beside a body of water. They pulled the canoe up on the bank. The funds held by a gambling house are the dealer in some gambling games. He tried to break the bank at Monte Carlo. Tip laterally. The pilot had to bank the aircraft. A portable .30 caliber automatic rifle operated by gas pressure and fed by cartridges from a magazine, used by United States troops in World War I and in World War II and in the Korean War. The body of individuals qualified to practice law in a particular jurisdiction. He was admitted to the bar in New Jersey. Prevent from entering. Keep out. He was barred from membership in the club. Render unsuitable for passage. Barricade the streets. The act of preventing. There was no bar against leaving. A block of solid substance, such as soap or wax. A bar of chocolate. Expel, as if by official decree. Musical notation for a repeating pattern of musical beats. The orchestra omitted the last 12 bars of the song. A narrow marking of a different color or texture from the background. A green toad with small black stripes or bars. A room or establishment where alcoholic drinks are served over a counter. He drowned his sorrows in whiskey at the bar. A counter where you can obtain food or drink. He bought a hot dog and a Coke at the bar. A heating element in an electric fire. An electric fire with 3 bars. A horizontal rod that serves as a support for gymnasts as they perform exercises. An obstruction, usually metal, placed at the top of a goal. It was an excellent kick, but the ball hit the bar. A rigid piece of metal or wood, usually used as a fastening or obstruction or weapon. There were bars in the windows to prevent escape. A submerged, or partly submerged, ridge in a river or along a shore. The boat ran aground on a submerged bar in the river. Law. A railing that encloses the part of the courtroom where the judges and lawyers sit and the case is tried. Spectators were not allowed past the bar. Meteorology. a unit of pressure equal to 1,000,000 dynes per square centimeter. Unfortunately, some writers have used bar for 1 dyne per square centimeter. Secure with, or as if with, bars. He barred the door. A projecting ridge on a mountain or submerged underwater. A support that consists of a horizontal surface for holding objects.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.